If you have oily eyelids or hooded eyes and you want to wear loose pigments, the ones like this in a jar, but you can't get them to look right on you, listen up. So you've probably applied them on your regular eyeshadow primer, but they don't look just as shiny as they do here. They're kind of diffused and you can see a sparkle here and there, but it is not that sparkly, vibrant moment that you are seeing in the jar. Unlike pressed eyeshadows, which are more emollient, meaning they have some liquid inside, these are not as easy to get to stick to your eyelids. Or you have tried to apply them on your bare lids and you're kind of seeing the same effect. You have probably also heard the advice that you can use a glitter primer, which is not a bad advice per se. However, there is a problem with it. If you have oily eyelids or hooded eyes and you applied, I applied it, I put a multi-chrome eyeshadow on. It looked so shiny, it looked absolutely perfect, but after about an hour it started creasing, of course. You know how it happens. So what do? How do we make it shiny and make it last at the same time? I have come up with a solution that will secure your shine for the day. It just needs a couple of extra steps, but they're super easy and totally worth it. Step number 1, you want to grab a primer that usually makes your eyeshadow last. For me, it's the Smashbox 24-hour Photo Finish Shadow Primer. You want to apply it to your eyelids, just as you would usually do when you are about to apply your regular pressed eyeshadows. And let it set for about a minute. Step number 2, and that's probably the only time you will hear this on my channel, but take a neutral eyeshadow, the one that's closest to your skin tone, and put it all over your eyelid like this. You can also use a colored eyeshadow if you want a colorful base to show through your multi-chrome, as I did in this other example, where I used a blue eyeshadow as a base, but that's because I wanted blue to peek through a little bit. If you want it to look like you have no base, just go with the nude neutral eyeshadow as close as possible to your skin tone and just apply it all over your lid. Pretty easy and quick so far. Now this is when you go for a glitter primer. I will be using the NYX glitter primer, and I can also recommend the Glitter Fix Elixir by Pretty Witch Cosmetics. They are both really good. This one is clear and this one has a slightly pearlescent finish. I like to use a small flat brush for this, just so that I don't smudge the eyeshadow that I have already applied, but you can use your fingers, just be careful, okay? Don't smudge the eyeshadow you already have. Okay, so put a little bit of, well, some bit of primer on your eyeshadow brush. I will grab a mirror. I hope you can still see me, because otherwise I just don't see what I'm doing at all. Place a little bit of primer here and a little bit of primer here, and just spread it over your lid. Make sure that you cover all the part where you want your sparkle eyeshadow to be. Your multi-chrome eyeshadow, perhaps. You can also buff out the edges of the primer application a little bit. And just like that, let it set for another minute. And now it's time for the sparkly loose pigment. Be careful not to open your eyes too wide before you're done. This one is from Rune Cosmetics. It's called Grim Geranium. It's a beautiful pink to green, sparkly multi-chrome. I just put a little bit of that in the lid. Okay, I shouldn't breathe. Now take a brush, dip it there. You can also use your finger and just with tapping movements, tap it on. And you see how shiny it instantly becomes? I can see it even without a mirror. Yeah, with a mirror I can definitely see better though. Just keep tapping it on until you got your whole moving lid covered, or whichever area you want it to cover. We can see it multi-chroming already. Now remove your fallout, because loose pigments are always going to get a fallout unless you wet your brush, which I do not recommend to do for oily lid girlies. You might get too much liquid on your eyelids and it will destroy everything. So I do recommend using a dry brush and just removing the fallout, or if you're doing this after doing a face makeup, then wear some kind of protective eyeshadow shield, a tissue or something like that. Finish your eye makeup however you see fit. Take a look at the result. I also applied a sparkly lip gloss to match. And this will last on you all day because you have applied that primer that actually lasts. You put a matte eyeshadow on top, and mattes are usually the ones that last the best, and only then you put a glitter primer on. Make sure you put a moderate amount on, don't overdo it. And this way it will last just as your matte eyeshadow usually does, or almost like this. It lasts on me all day. And if you want more makeup tips, you're welcome to see this playlist. I'll meet you there. Bye!